And hello guys, we are here for the part 2 of the Baron Lane guide. So, last time we've talked about wave management, some wards, some tips and tricks, about the picking, counter picking. So if you didn't saw it, feel free. You're on my channel and I am also doing guides for other lanes, or at least planning to do so. And well, let's don't lose much time and let's get into it. So, first of all, we've already talked about a lot of things, so I'm just looking at my papers. Okay, I can start talking by this. That's a small little trick that can really help you. Oops. As you can see, yeah, I am just uploading the video. So, I'm recording this video immediately after the guide. So, now, here we are. Level 1. I will talk about the levels, the important levels in the game in general. So, level 1, level 2, level 3, and eventually level 6. So, there are champions that are really strong, really strong in level 1. I would say like Darius because of his stacks, Riven, the new champion because he has basically 3 abilities, like in his first ability that is really strong. Wukong, that can dash and gain a lot of attack speed. Maybe Mundo, depending on the matchup because he is really tanky. Irelia, she's really strong too. So, if you can, take advantage of that. What can you do? When you're on the side of the map, use your ward and place it here, on this push, yes. If no one is here, stay here on this push. What does it bring you? You just ward the place where you stand. Yes. So you'll have vision on the river, so if the enemy laner is coming to place a ward, you can attack it if you know that you are strong in the early game. If he's coming from here or here, you can also do it. It almost look like a bird, it's funny. A weird bird. Anyway, sorry. You can attack it because it will walk to you. That's something that you have to be really careful to. If you have a weak early game, be careful with this push. Or even, Leash. Leash is helping the jungler taking the buff and he's coming here. Boom, you can attack it. Yes, the enemy jungler might come. So that's why you want to take a short trade and go back. That's a really good cheese. Another one is running as fast as possible. No, first of all, a simple one. Just place a ward here and stand here on the corner. If he comes from this side or this side, you can attack it. So now, one of the tricks that I don't see a lot of people do, I also don't see a lot of people doing this, and it's a shame because it's a really good cheese level 1. Cheese is basically, I will say, kind of like, it's hard to explain, but it's like, oh, okay, you fell for it. A really good one is, you run, you immediately get out of the Nexus, and you come here, close to the wall, and you enter in this push. If the wave is here, it won't see you. So if you can, I don't think it's possible, but if you can on this bush, it's really good because the enemy will be standing here and you can come from behind. Be careful because level 1, 2, 3, eventually 4 and 5 means a lot of damage. And cannons, cannon minion, oh my god, they deal so much damage. Be really careful with that. So you have a cheese that you can do here, here, or even here in one of those bushes. If you feel that you have a really strong early game, feel free, do this. Do this safely, by the way, safely. Talking about safe, never forget to place your wards. If you're afraid that the jungler is on this side of the map, I will just... Okay. If you think that the enemy jungler is on this side of the map, okay, I have to. Okay. Just a little second. I have my pen. If you think that the enemy jungler is on this side of the map, place a ward on the tribush. If you are not sure, place a ward on the river, but not in the bush, here. So you can both cover the tribush and the river itself. There is also one thing that it's not usual at all to happen is when a jungler ganks from the lane. What they have to do is they come here close to the wall and they go bush, bush, and if you don't have minions here, they won't see him. If you have a minion here, they will see him like here. So yeah, always ward. It's really important. It's basically only you and your opponent, but when the jungler comes, it's a lot harder to deal with. So, um, small little tricks about build. The build part is also really important in the game, of course, and people don't pay enough attention to it. So you have the normal build. I will give the example with probably my main right now, Wukong. Every champion has a really good item with it. Wukong is the Black Cleaver, for example, or eventually the Guardian Angel, depending on the item. So be careful when you don't have that item and just farm, farm, farm. Don't try anything fancy. If you can, do it. If you can't, just stay safe. When you have your item, and for example your opponent still doesn't, take advantage of that. You have an item, you're stronger, fight him. If you can do it safely, you have enough vision, or when you know the enemy jungler isn't there. So that's an item spike. When you have your first item. Power spike. People also say power spike. And power spike usually it's when you have like the two items that are really good with you. So, first item, power spike. Respect this. If your enemy also has this power spike, respect it. If I am the like, I will just give a fast example. I am Wukong, and I recall I come back to lane with my Black Cleaver and boots, for example. The enemy, I don't know, Malphite, for example, that it's been playing a lot, don't have his item yet. So he has to respect it. He has to respect. You have to be careful. And if he doesn't, you can punish it because you have the advantage. You have the item advantage. You are stronger. Um, that's basically the item that you always want to have. Then you will build accordingly to the enemies. Usually, I always build those two items and then I start going to other items. What do I know what to build? When do I know what to build? Sorry. It depends on the enemy team, mostly. Those two items are good with you. If I need damage, I build damage. If I don't, I build defenses. With Wukong. Okay, right? Okay. If I'm ahead, if I'm really far ahead, usually I build a Yumus if the enemy has a lot of squishes, or a Bloodthirster if I'm really ahead, because this is so much damage in one item, it's unbelievable. And the physical vamp will give you so much health. And by the way, don't do this. There. On Wukong it's better Spirit Visage, because your first ability heals you. Um, unless you're playing against a Katarina or a Cannon, that their ultimates deal damage by tick, like ta 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 ta, really fast. So, after those two items, I want to see if the enemy has a lot of magic damage, I buy magic resistance. If they have a lot of physical damage, I buy physical resistance, armor. If not, I just wait and see, and I play a really good item in both cases, which is the Sterak's Cage. It gives me HP, it gives me tenacity, and a shield if I am low. It's really good. So, respect. If you're ahead, try to buy things that make helps you get even more ahead. Bloodthirster is the best example for items that make you even further ahead on the enemies. As a mage, I would say immediately Rabadon. No doubt, just Rabadon, it's so much damage added. A defensive item, for example. I don't know. But for real, one of those two items are really good when you are ahead if you want to still play safe. Or just really big, raw defensive stats with the Thornmail with armor and the Force of Nature as magic resistance. If you're playing behind, there is no need. first of all, there are some items that can counter matchups. For example, if you're playing against a Mundo, you want this secondary sword or there, the Bramble Vest. Why? Because it applies Gravenous Wounds. Gravenous Wounds is what cuts the enemy healing. Since Mundo heals a lot, you want this. If you're playing against a magic a magic damage dealer on your lane, you might want this small little sword. 1200 gold. It's not that much for real. For the stats that this gives you. Gives you magic resistance and a bit of damage. And on top of all, it even gives you a shield when you take magic damage. It's really interesting. Sometimes, when I'm ahead on my laner, I want to build a BF sword because it's also just 1500 and it gives me just 40 raw damage, which is really good. This item is really good if you want to have a bit of HP, if you want a bit of damage. If you think that the matchup is kind of tight, Phage is a really good item. And it builds into both Trinity and Black Cleaver, so if you are a Baron laner, most of the time I would say at least 90% of the case you'll buy one of those two if you are playing a fighter. Um, if I'm really aggressive, why not? 15% armor penetration. If I want a bit more attack speed, like on Darius, to apply stacks faster, because the damage is not missing, but he always runs away with 3 or 4 stacks attack speed, or even just a small one. Really good magic items, eventually tier if you're playing behind, Shin. If you have any on one of those 3 items that plays with Shin, you can just stay until you have 900 gold and go back to buy Shin. It's so good. Makes your next attack deal more damage after you cast a spell, and even ability ace on top of all. This is so broken with empowered auto attacks like Wukong's first ability, Darius' second ability, Na's first ability, or even I don't know if I have her actually. Ah, there. Camille's first ability 2 times, or with a champion that I hate and it's being played a lot, Garen. First ability 2, Riven. That is 3 times the use of Shin. She goes, then she attacks. Then try to wait like 1 second because Shin has a 1.5 second cooldown. Then dash, attack again. Then dash, attack again. You will use Shin 3 times and it's so much damage. So picking items against your matchups is really interesting most of the time. Building this or the Bramble Vest for an anti-heal, this for magic resistance. If you want a lot of raw armor, just Chain Vest. If you want a lot of damage, this. If you need attack speed, there. If you think that you're getting poked a lot, Vampiric Scepter can be a really good choice because you will regen, gain health. Or if you're playing against, I would say, a Vayne, probably just this that will build into a Randuin, that will reduce your attack speed and give you armor. But try to buy items that you will finish. This one built into the sword, the Maw of Malmortius. It's also a really good sword for the late game, but most of the time I only end up buying this one and selling it later. This one, I will probably always finish it into a Thornmail because it's so good, it's so much armor, it gives you even health and it deals damage to people who attack you. One thing that you have to keep in mind, sometimes people... sorry. Just before, champions really need boots of lucidity. You might want boots even before your first item. Or if you're playing against a champion that can poke you a lot with auto attacks like Fiora, Camille, plated skull caps is so good. If they have a lot of CC or slows, Mercury. Tier 2 boots are really good and underrated. There is such a huge difference when I'm fighting with and without a plated steel caps against a Fiora, Camille, Darius, Wukong eventually. So plated steel caps it's good against most of the Baron laners. And later, you can always sell it if you want some Mercury threads or those ones to go faster. Now, something that you have to be careful is when you fall behind, don't buy items that are specifically for your lane. If somehow the Mundo killed you 3 times, it's not worth to buy this anymore. Just farm safely, you will never be able to kill it. So just stay safe and don't spend 1000 gold in a sword that you will have to sell later or be forced to buy an item. Just don't. Don't buy like any other items that you won't need later just because of your lane if you are behind. It's gold wasted. Any gold coin, I will say, is important when you are behind. So don't waste it like this. When you play behind, just focus on your power spike and then on what's the enemy team. They have a lot of magic damage, magic resistance. They have a lot of physical damage, armor. So think about this. Next, the influence and importance of the level 2. When you are in a lane and the enemies just are kind of like similar than you, level 1 against level 1, you're both equally strong. If you can take a minion more than your opponent, you will get level 2 before. So instead of having just one ability, you'll have two, and your opponent will only have one. So you can try to kill him level 2 with that. Be careful fighting in the middle of minions, but you can do this. It's basically the same thing for level 3. Both have two abilities, then you get level 3 first. You can try, even if it's a little bit harder than just in level 2. But it's something that you have to be careful and also respect your opponent. If he has two abilities and you just have one, respect, play safe. Sometimes there are champions that can deal really well against it, but overall, play safe. About the ultimate, you don't have to be really afraid of the ultimate because it has such a really big cooldown. I will say 80 seconds, for example. So you don't have to worry about this during 80 seconds. So why do you have to be afraid? You can also bait your opponent. One thing that I really like to do with Wukong, for example, is third ability to dash in and second ability to dash out my clone. So when I do this level 5, they are afraid. Sometimes people even flash out because, oh no, 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 he will use my clone and he will use his ultimate, he will hit me twice because of his clone. And no, I just bait that. It's just a bait. And it can work. It can burn the enemy ultimate or even the flash. One more thing. If you can use your ultimate to bait or to waste your opponent's flash, it's totally worth. Because ultimates usually have a lower cooldown. I will give you the example with Galio. I think it's 2 minutes, his ultimate. And the flash, I'm not sure, but I think it's 2 minutes and a half. So even with that, you can still use again your ultimate while your enemy don't have this flash. Keep this in mind. If you can use, if you have the choice between using your ultimate or your flash, use your ultimate because of the cooldown. Okay, so when can you go in? I will say Darius, to clear the wave, use his spin. One thing that you can do is go in the inner part and attack him, because he basically wasted his first ability. And then go back. If you know, if you saw Fiora use the second ability, the rectangle, just wait next to her. As soon as this is over, boom, attack. When the Camille is using like the first ability, this one, try to go in this part, because on this she'll deal more damage to you and she will heal. If you go on this part, you will take less damage and you can totally go in and fight her. So know what scares you in your opponent and know how to go in when they use it. I will give again the example with Darius. I will just do this with another color. So the outer part deals more damage, stacks, and heals him. The inner part still deals damage, but it's almost nothing. So when you see that he's spinning, walk towards him and fight him. Just a bit and then go back. Just that. If you think that he can go in on you, just go back. You don't need to fight him, and you need reasons to fight him. Oh, so you just use that ability? I am afraid of that ability actually, but you just use it for nothing, so I can go in. And I can fight you. Know what are your strengths, your strength, your weaknesses, and your just game level, your macro will just explode, and you will gain so much more lanes, so many more. So always think about some mistakes that your opponent is doing. Okay, so my minions are here, his are here, and I don't want him to take minions. So I'm putting myself here in the middle of the enemy minions, so I can get the experience in the last hits while my opponent is a lock here. Oh, you walk because you want a minion. I'm gonna fight you. Do this when you think you are strong. That's the best thing that you can do. Denying experience and gold from the enemy. It's so important. It's a thing that will just make you step up and create a huge gap between you and your opponent. That will be reflected in the late game, of course. So, know your champions, know the matchups, know when to go in. Know when to recall. It's also really important. Basically, when the wave is pushing to the enemy side, you can recall. When you just crash a wave, you can recall if the enemy lane is pushing towards you, or if you think that they can just fast push the wave to crash under your turret, don't recall, stay here, take the wave. When you are really low in life, just go back, because you are never safe from getting dived. Dive is when you are under your turret and the enemies just dive on you. They jump on you, even under your turret, they can kill you. So know when to recall. Basically, look at the wave. The wave is going to their side. It's good, I can recall. The wave is crashed, even better. Okay, the wave is pushing to my side, I can't. So I will tell you about the three phases of the game. So, first of all, nope. Uh, okay, number one, the laning phase. When the Baron lane is here, the mid laner is here, the jungler is on the jungle, and the support and the ADC are on their lane. Basically, each laner, like the Baron laner, the mid laner, and the ADC are on their lane. The jungler always goes like to the wall map, and they can gank, and the support can rotate too. A small trick: if you're a support, when you recall, don't immediately go to the bot lane. Try to go mid, because from here you can help your mid laner, or you can even here when the opponents don't see you. You can just go back to your lane if there is nothing happening, or help the Baron laner. It's always really good. So, basically, laning phase is when people stay in their lanes. Second phase, the mid phase, when the turrets start to fall. This one doesn't exist, this one neither. We'll say this one doesn't exist, this one doesn't, and somehow oops, this one doesn't too. So, here, we have a huge priority because we could take down this turret, and our turret is still up. Why is it good? Because we can have a safe point here under our turret, and the enemies doesn't. But also for the vision. The enemies, besides if they put ward, they don't have vision here, and we can totally walk here safely without being seen. And you can do this to place a ward here, or there, this one, kinda safely, because the enemies won't have a turret to just block you. Now, let's see. I am a Darius and I am fed. I want to split push. I bought teleport, I'm here, while the Baron is up. Or no, even better. More simple. Um, I'm gonna split push on this side because I want to take this turret. I have teleport and the dragon is up. My team is grouping here, they want to fight. But someone needs to come or else I'll just take this turret. Then this one, and I can even attack next if really no one comes. But that never happens, of course. So, one people from the enemy team has to come to defend. Then I will use my teleport, whoop, here. And now, someone is here, on top, that created a 5v4, which is 5 men, our team, against 4 from there. So we have one more guy in our team to fight. So they will probably have to surrender this dragon. what the enemy team can do to counter this is they see me split push, someone with teleport come and just contest me. So split push is a really good way to create an advantage because it gives you solo gold from turrets. You will have only that gold for you. You will create, I will say, kind of an uncomfortable position from the enemies. Like, we are all here, but someone needs to go there. Who will go? And then two people go there for nothing. And I'm like, fine. You can do this to easily take turrets, to push waves further away, or simply just to distract enemies and make one of them just recall and has to contest you while you go back to your team. Split push is really good. But sometimes people don't know what is split push and we need to overextend. So, in this situation, I am here on top. On the map, we can see that my bot lane is here, the enemy bot lane is here, my bot lane is here too. I'll just do this with another color maybe. My bot lane is here. My god, this color is really, really ugly. Maybe white. My bot lane is here. Then you can see my jungler somewhere here, or even invading the enemy jungle. And the enemy mid laner is bot. Same with mine. So I have vision on the mid laner and the bot lane, the support and the ADC. Who's missing? The Baron laner is missing, and the jungler is missing. So, why is this important? This is important because I have to know if I can fight my enemy Baron laner 1v1, or if I can't. If I can't, I cannot split push. If I can, I should split push. I really should. I don't have vision on the enemy jungler. If I can 2v1, just me versus the enemy jungler and the Baron laner, it's a good idea. If I can't, I just go back. So, one important thing about it is vision. If you're split pushing, put vision on the enemy jungle. If you put vision here, you see if someone will come from this side or this side, and you can start going back. If you have no vision, forget it. You will just get caught by surprise, and probably the whole enemy team is there, which is stupid because my team can just take the other things on the map. A dragon if I split push here, or just turrets, basically for free because everyone came there and they needed to. So you have to keep two things in mind when you split push. Can I do it? So can I fight one people that can contest me, or even two? And do I have wards? Do I have vision in their jungle? If they come to the side, it's more dangerous. If they come here, I can just run this way. If I am here and they come to this side, I might be stuck and they can kill me. So vision and how strong you are. That are the 2 points that you have to keep in mind when you split push. So the third phase of the game. Sorry. About the second phase, you can split push. You can also stay with your team to team fight. You have to evaluate what can you do and when you can't. If you can't split push, stay with your team. Play around objectives. Start clearing vision. Start warding deeper about around objectives. Stay with your teams, or even try to cheese. Stay on the bush, and out of nowhere, boom. Team fight or split push. You have to keep this in mind, and the more you play, the more you'll understand which one to do. Now, the late game, there is basically nothing to say. It's just a pure my team is there, the enemy team is there, and we fight. Oh, the enemy team win the fight, they win the game. Oh, we won the fight, we win the game. That's basically the late game. Everyone is full stuff, and yeah. The thing that you have to keep in mind in this stage of the game is any overextend might mean the end of the game. If the enemy team get me here, this is a 5 versus 4. It's not always game lose, but they can do so much with that. They can do Baron and we cannot contest it, or even Elder Dragon. So be really careful in the late game, don't overextend, because the respawning times are really high, and I can tell you that being 40 or even 50 seconds without playing it's awful for you because you have to look at what your teammates are doing and depending on them, but also for your team playing with a member down. So, about the last 2 points. That's more about laning phase. When to rotate and to rotate and skirmish. So it's basically about the wave. If my wave is here, I cannot rotate. If my wave is here, I can. If it's like somewhere here close, if you don't need to go to the other side of the map, one thing that people really need to think about is, should I rotate for the dragon or not? It's a really hard question actually. If you have the teleport, it's really nice. So you can just like fight for dragon, then teleport back to lane. If you don't, I would recommend to, because the enemy will just take your turret and take a lot of gold. Losing your turret for a dragon is not worth. Dragons are not worth. People you tend to think that dragons are the game, and they're like, we lost the first dragon, we want to surrender. That's stupid. No. Do you realize that in the early game, 6 or 8% of something is basically nothing, and the gold that the dragon gives you, it's just not worth. Um, Pro Guides Wild Rift on YouTube actually said something really interesting. In the beginning of the game, the mountain dragon that gives you a shield gives you less gold, gives you less than 500 gold if I'm not wrong, and it gives you less health than the ruby crystal. Ruby crystal is this one. Just gonna show you this. This is better than the mountain dragon in the early game. Yes. So when you rotate, you have to think like, what do I lose and what do I win? Or what can I win? If I go to a fight on the river, I can have like 2 kills, 2 assists. If I die, I will probably have my wave screwed for the rest of the game. Think, what do I lose? What do I win? The more you play, the more you'll understand this. And now, last point about the video, don't feed, and how to play behind. If you fight your laner, he will come back stronger, he will come back with a small sword, long sword, sorry, or decide something, that can create a bigger gap that will make him stronger than you, or more tankier, just like a bit of health, armor or magic resistance, an item like this that is good against you, or even get close faster to his power spike. So really think twice when you want to fight again against the laner that just killed you earlier. Ah, but I was so close, maybe I can do it. Yes, but this time he'll have the advantage. Ah, so close, he has 1 HP. I know, I think I can do it. In this case, call your jungler or your mid laner. If they don't come, don't fight. Because what will happen is, oh, okay, 1 HP, this one wasn't close, but I think I can do it if I play it better. Meanwhile, you've already died 8 times to him. And the enemy laner will be fed, you will get flamed by your whole team, and it's just bad. So, you died once, play safer, try to create a gap, try to freeze the lane, to try to get the same gold as he does, come back stronger. Really important thing, when you are in the laning phase, when your opponent just was gone for some time, to recall or rotate, look at the items that he has. Okay, already is his first time, I don't. So I have to think. No, I cannot fight him. Or okay, he still didn't recall. He only has a small sword, but I already have my first item. Boom, go on him. But if you play without using your brain, just don't. This is messing with me so much, but it's something that we all do. I do it even sometimes. It's a mistake. If you died once, don't fight. You'll get stronger. And with the second time that you win, it'll become even stronger. And then there will be the point where you get one shot and you are like, what? But no, you feed him. So, last point, how to play from behind. So, the enemy is ahead. What to do? Really simple. Uh, there. There. As simple as this. Freeze. If you freeze, the enemy will have to overextend. Your jungler will see it. He'll come and help you get him. When the enemy took a kill from you, try to freeze the lane. So if you think that you can do it, you can even lose health because of that, because that will give you a safe game overall. The enemy wave is coming, so you just stand here. The minions are attacking you, and when your wave is coming, they will be fighting here in a really good spot, not on the turret range. Here, just slightly forward. So if the enemy jungler comes, you can go back. If your jungler comes, you can kill him because he will be a lot forward, too overextended. One other thing that you can do, as I've told you earlier, is on the situation, the minions are the melee and the range. And for you, same, the melee and the range. You would like to stand here, in the middle of it, because you will receive the experience from the minions that are dying. You can last it, and your enemy will be like, what can I do? If I come, I will be so overextended. And if he stands even further, even like too far away, he won't even have oops experience or gold. He's too far away. And another point, one thing that you can do when this is the case, when this is totally freezing you, is just trying to get close, but do not last it. Just get close here, here. If you think you can do it safely, dodge the attacks. But vision, so important. Vision. If you play Teemo, for example, you can use a mushroom. Mushrooms give you vision. If you put it in the bush, as soon as someone enters the bush, you see him. So, there you don't last it, but you still gain experience and gold. Never forget it. Don't stay too far away from your lane, because you will lose all this. That's why you have to think about, if I go here and help a fight that is going on here, you will lose this. So think twice. So yeah, guys, that was it. I hope you liked it. I hope it was helpful for you. And I hope you can give me some tips and tricks and just say something. Leave a like if you like, leave a dislike if you didn't. If you could please let me know if you what you think about those videos, or if you would like some different kinds of videos. Please use the comments, guys. I want to talk to you. It could be so much better to have an interaction. So don't forget to subscribe so don't miss any content, and maybe one day we could even play together, or a game with me and some subs. Or tell me, what do you think? If I can, I will record the game with my friends. We'll have a lot of fun together. And I will try to pick something different or funny. Like a Rakan top. Don't know, I didn't say anything. Maybe. Who knows? So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope it was helpful. And see you guys for the next video.